morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, so it's Wednesdays with Willa. I'm Willa White, and I have my guest here, Bonnie White.
Hello.
And we're just waiting for the Lilydale Blog Talk Radio to start up, and we have a show for you. Hi, and as you come on, you can say hello to us, and good morning. I'll be talking about some mediumship real soon here. I'm in Florida.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Love Voice Radio.
Welcome to Lilydale Radio, featuring topics about spiritualism, mediumship, healing, spirituality, and the Lilydale Assembly, the world's largest center for the religion, philosophy, and science of spiritualism. This is Lilydale Radio.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wednesdays with Willa. I am your host, Willa White. I'm a registered medium in Lilydale, and this is Lilydale Radio. So I'm so glad you're able to tune in today. This is my radio show where I have different guests on. We talk about different spiritual topics, mediumship topics, faith and family, and it's a great time on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. And I have today as my special guest, Bonnie White. Thanks for being on the show. And for those of you who don't know, Bonnie White is my mother. And I have had her on the show before. And it's great to relate with family. And we've got a lot of shared experience because we're both mediums. And my mother, Bonnie White, is a registered medium in Lilydale. And she is also a spirit artist. And so our topic today is communicating with animals in spirit. If you want to call in today, you're welcome to do so. The call-in number is 818-739-8818. Again, 818-739-8818. And so I want to make sure I mention there are other Lilydale radio shows that go on throughout the week. On Tuesday evenings at 8 o'clock, we have Colleen Vanderzijden doing Embracing Your Essence. Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. with me. And Wednesday evenings at 8 p.m. with John White, Journey of Light. And then Thursday mornings at 10 a.m., Celeste Elliott does Wake Up to Spirit. Wake Up Whisper. Oh, sorry about that. I can't quite remember which word to use there, but it's a lot of great shows that you can tune into. As far as tuning into Wednesdays with Willa, I have 2 different ways that you can listen in. I do post this Facebook Live on Willa White Medium on my Facebook page, so you can like, follow, share things that way, know when I'm going live, know when what we're doing for the topic for the radio show. And you can also look at my website, willawhite.com. Now, you can also listen, and it's an audio version only, through blogtalkradio.com/Lilydale Radio. So those are options for listening in. So, as I said, my guest is Bonnie White, my mother. I'm very blessed, very fortunate to have her as my mother. She's been able to shape my journey, and we've talked about that in other shows. If you guys want to go back and look at the archive shows, I think September we did a show, and I can't remember when the second one was. So this, I think, is our 3rd show. I have you as my guest.
It's wonderful.
It is wonderful. So our topic, I know there's going to be a lot of interest in this. People are always asking about pets, and as mediums, can we communicate with pets that have passed on, with animals? And the answer is yes. That happens, and the reason we chose this topic for today, I'm in Florida just for a brief time working, and I of course get the wonderful benefit of working with my mother too, and we were talking about alligators. And I was saying, I saw a video of a woman feeding chicken breast with long silver tongs to an alligator in her kitchen. And this led to my mother telling me a story of something that happened during one of her readings. So I'm going to have her share that with you today.
Okay. Thank you, Willa. It's just a pleasure to do this together. And it's kind of a dream of mine that I'd have someone of my children that really does this path.
Yes.
And in this particular way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everyone is on a spiritual path
Yes.
in our family, but this particular path of mediumship,
Yes.
it has been a wonderful thing to have Willa. She's my only daughter, by the way.
Only daughter.
So
I have to share that
yeah.
way.
So I want to talk about the alligator story.
Yes,
though.
please do.
You know, Florida is actually filled with alligators.
Filled.
Filled over brimming with alligators. And it's, they're kind of frightening. But one time when I was doing a reading for a man, well, I should say that when I'm doing a spirit art reading, I should explain that a little bit. I use a piece of paper and sometimes just one piece of charcoal, sometimes many pieces of charcoal when I draw. And I start drawing with my eyes closed besides that. I also do something with many colors, and that's another level of art. But I was doing the charcoal drawing for a man. And after I started doing the charcoal drawing, I pick up about 20 little chunks of charcoal, and first of all I pray, because I always
begin with
it's
prayer.
really important for the medium to be in touch with the soul energy, with the spirit energy,
Sacred.
and have things in alignment, because that's what we're reaching for. That's what we're going for. We're not trying to find it in our own selves. So it's kind of a nice thing. It's like you get proof as you go.
Yes.
So what happened was I started doing that, and I opened my eyes after maybe a minute of working with the charcoal, and there was an alligator in the picture. Now, I'm like coming
On
from
the page.
on the picture on the page, and I'm coming from the idea of all good, you know.
Trying to.
I'm like, why am I getting an alligator, right?
For her client.
For my client. And he saw the alligator and he began to cry, which was even more amazing to me. But I said, well, you must have something to do with an alligator. Spirit doesn't usually just throw anything in. It has a meaning, even if I don't know right away what it is. And he said that he had a pet alligator, that it was an alligator that had followed him, and it had a little peeping noise, like, you know.
So it was imprinting upon
It was
him?
imprinting, and it imprinted upon him as the mother.
Oh dear.
So he began to raise it, and to keep it warm, because it's reptilian, and they have to be kept warm. He would actually sleep with this alligator, and it became quite a little pet. And then it passed. So it was coming, Spirit had brought it through from Spirit to let him know that his alligator that he loved and was in grief about losing,
Yes.
was okay.
A whole nother level of alligator tears.
Crocodile tears, alligator tears. It was amazing to me.
Yeah, you have to allow whatever is going to come through
I
from
know.
Spirit about this. I mean, it's so
I was-
oddball, right?
I was
An
almost
alligator
ready to say, oh, this
as
must
a
not be
pet.
good. Right. And it was really true. And he said, so I said to him before the reading was over, or after the reading, I wanted to check with him, because alligators are very frightening for me to see. I don't want one coming up. I know that I think this area we're in now is one of the capitals for alligator bites or golfing incidents or whatever. And so I said, does that change your attitude toward alligators in the wild? And he said, absolutely not. This one was bonded to me, and we had that bonding relationship. But if I saw an alligator out in the wild, I would definitely not try to feed it. I would definitely not try to befriend it because of my experience with that particular alligator. But it was interesting that it should come through in the spirit art.
Yes.
And he had other things come through. But that one
Visual
was
confirmation.
visual confirmation that he and I were both truly amazed.
And the rational mind would want to throw that out.
My rational mind was going berserk.
And discard that and say, oh, I can't possibly say that. I can't possibly have that on the page.
Right.
But things happen like
It
that.
was, and it was a eye-opening experience for me because I had already done a painting with a lot of alligators in it.
Oh yes, that was my mother's a professional artist. Beyond being a spirit artist, it's a different level.
But
of
it had a lot of
things.
spiritual components to it.
Yes.
So, so that was kind of, I loved that experience.
And
I'm grateful.
you know, animals will come through in readings.
Mhm.
I remember I was doing a reading for a young lady a long time ago now, but and I don't always remember readings or components of it, but you know when you're just in awe of things, you do remember it. So I was in the reading with her, and I heard this strange noise, and so I started to try to mimic it, and to me it sounded almost like the sound a big cat would make. And as I made this noise, and she heard me making this noise, she burst out into tears, and come to find out, she is a zookeeper, and her specialty is with monkeys, and a monkey that makes this noise, and it sounds like a big cat to me, but it's a small monkey that makes the noise. That was her monkey that had passed, that she was so worried about this monkey and how it was like a child to her. And so it was a big confirmation for her that everything was okay with the monkey. So if I had said, oh, I can't possibly pass along that noise, that clairaudience that had occurred, she may not have had the closure that she needed about the monkey. You know, as zookeepers, they feel very deeply about what they do of treating animals correctly and you know, nurturing them and cherishing them. So when we talk about communication with animals, we don't just mean domesticated animals, because other things will come in. Snakes will come in, birds will come in, and so a lot of times if I'm connecting with someone's pet that has passed, a dog or a cat, that sort of thing, they feel that so deeply. I've had instances where we've connected with their mother, their father, their husband, everything, and we finally get to their cat, and that's when they burst out into tears, because that unconditional love that they experienced with that animal meant the world to them, and they're living from that heart space with them. And I frequently tell people, if we were to extrapolate on the unconditional love that we experience with animals and convey that into our relationship with people, what an amazing world this would be.
That's true. And you know, I've found that sometimes a dog, especially dogs, will come through first, and the person will know whose dog it is.
Yes. They'll recognize
That's
it.
my dad's dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing that comes through is the face of the father. Mm-hmm. So it's like there's something about the animals that really does have a spiritual connection with us, and their guardianship.
Yes.
Dogs are good. They're good for guarding your emotional body.
Yes.
Not just sitting and communicating, but actually they pick up the emotions that you're having, and they really help. you know.
They transmute things.
Yes, they do.
No, not every dog or cat is a healer. Some of them are not. But many of them are, and they'll pick a location on your body, and that's where they hone in on doing the healing.
That's right.
Because they know that's where you need it most.
That's right. Now, one of the first times that I used spirit art in mediumship, when the animal came through, was one time when I was doing a reading. It wasn't in Lilydale, it was outside of Lilydale. But I was doing a reading for a lady, and I do my usual thing of closing my eyes and seeing what comes through. And there was a man, and she recognized the man by his hair, because it was her father. And they used to, and I was trying to remember this morning what she called that. It was a great big toupee. It was like a big one.
Like a pompadour?
Pompadour, that's what the word was. Okay, I could not remember. Okay, and she said, "Oh, it's my dad that says pompadour." Thank you. And so we were delighted that it came through with the pompadour. And then I looked twice, and the pompadour had the body of an Airedale dog in it. So I'm thinking, I don't know if I should say that.
Isn't the Airedale is more of a thin dog but long coat? Is that
Yeah, but it was something about it, and it looked like an Airedale. They have, I think they have whiskery-looking areas. You know, they're fuzzy-ish, but maybe it's a coarser hair. I don't know. But it wasn't like his. It was on the pompadour, and pompadour was big enough that you could actually see that it was the dog.
Yes.
And she said, "That is my dad's dog, and it died within 6 months of his death. And it wasn't because it was old.
And it showed up on his head.
And it showed up in his hair. So, you know, it showed up like that, and I'm thinking,
Dog on the
wow,
brain.
an animal spirit. And I don't know, you know, when you're first beginning things like that, you don't know how people are going to accept it. Whether animals have spirits, whether they have souls, or where do they go, and all that. And here was this animal, and it was the proof beyond the pompadour.
Right.
Proof beyond the pompadour. So it's a wonderful service that animals do, and they don't have to be just registered service dogs.
Right.
To provide the wonderful space for us to exist.
And so, for
love.
me, as far as communicating with animals, if I see them visually, they tend to come in at animal level. So humans up here for me, and then animals down closer to the floor, and that helps me to distinguish what the size of the animal is. Sometimes I'll be able to see the coloration or the pattern that might be on the animal. Sometimes I'll hear it, I'll know what kind of bark or meow it has, and the personality, and sometimes I'll get the physical symptoms, just like we would for a human. I'll get physical things that have to do with cancer, or if there was a big tumor hanging off of things, or I can't determine in advance how descriptive it might be when I communicate with an animal. It just like I can't do that with humans. So it's something that I've noticed, that they can come in all those different ways. And
yes,
that love never dies with animals.
That's true.
I remember doing a reading for a lady once, and she said to me, "Are you serious? That dog died 40 years ago." She couldn't believe that the dog was still
stay
coming
with
and
you,
visiting.
folks. They stay with
They
you.
do visit. They do like to visit. And, you know, clients have reported that they see their animals around with them.
And feel them sometimes.
Right. They'll jump up on the bed next to them when they're sleeping. So it's fun. Animals are a lot of fun to bring through.
Oh, let me think of another story here. I don't tend to remember the readings, but
I know. You just let it go.
the animal ones sometimes are so vivid and interesting. Should I tell about the one where the lady came who was looking for her boy?
Sure, you can tell them that.
Okay, there was a lady who came, and when she first came in, she was really truly in grief and very, very, very sad. And she couldn't help but tell me that it was her boy's birthday. And that's why her boy had passed, and she was hoping that her boy would come through. And usually I don't like to know ahead of time. I like
Right.
to
I
have
don't like to know stuff in
Spirit
advance.
decide who comes through the person. I said, so I don't know if we're going to get your boy or not, but we'll give it a try. So the first thing, I did my drawing with my eyes closed. And I do this on 11 by 14 piece of paper, 11 inches by 14 inches. And right in the very middle was a picture of a moose. So I'm like, oh, I was hoping it would be her boy. And she looked at it, and I said, it's a moose. Do you have any connection with a moose? And she said, no. And I'm like, I said, well, I'll try it. And so I tried in a new space where it was blank on the page, and a little dog came through. And I said, oh, no, it's a dog. I'm looking for her boy. And she said, no, that's not my boy. And I said, okay, there were like 3 in a row. So we explored the different ones. None of them were boy. I said, well, I'll try one more time. And if your boy doesn't come through, I'll have to send you to somebody else.
I mean, you can't guarantee you're going to connect with
I'm going to
anything.
connect here.
You can't.
And she said, please try. I know you can do it. She knew I could do it after most of the 3 dogs, right? So I did one more time, and it was another dog. I said, I'm sorry. She said, no, that's my boy. I'm like, you mean you're looking for a dog? I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know who she was.
Right.
So then she told me who the other dogs were. She told me this dog was my friend when I was a little girl, my first friend, and she's with me all the time. This one was another dog I had. This one. And
So she acted like she didn't know anything.
No, she only wanted the one.
She only wanted the one to come
because
through.
that's-
So she told you she didn't understand the other stuff?
No, she didn't. She didn't recognize it wasn't her boy, and I thought I was going. I didn't
Right.
assume that the dogs were correct. You know,
Right.
I assumed I was really going off the beam.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to check ourselves as mediums. You know.
Right,
So,
right.
anyway, so then we had a lot of discussion and everything, and I said, well, if all of this is other true, I said I don't understand why Spirit would put the moose in there.
Right.
I came right back to the moose, and
Yeah.
I said, this has to have meaning.
Yeah,
If it's all so accurate,
right.
what's the moose? And she said, we always took our boy on a vacation every year, and we went, there was a special place in Maine we would go, and the last time we took him on vacation before he died, a moose stepped out in front of us, and it was looking right into our vehicle. I think she said truck, but I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And it was huge, and my boy went crazy. He just went crazy, and it took him forever to settle down. He was so excited, and he just barked and barked and barked. It was the most exciting thing, and the moose wasn't moving. So
There's
there's
a
the
message
moose.
from the dog about a moose.
And the first thing that came through was this giant moose in the page, and it's like, how does Spirit do this? How
Right.
on
You
earth?
can't make them do it. It just
How on
has to
earth do
happen.
they do this? You know, I don't know how they do it, and I'm doing it every
Through
day.
the vibration of love.
and they put the moose in. So it's that was such a successful reading,
Yeah.
and it looked like such a unsuccessful one for
Right.
most of the part of it. So, and she was so happy then.
Sure. Of
So
course.
the tears turned to tears of joy and happiness. But
Yes.
it's stay with it, folks.
Stay with it.
Stay with it to the end.
And sometimes pets will talk about humans that are around them too.
That's true too.
Just like a human spirit would talk about things. Sometimes animals will talk, but it's more symbolically and a knowing that I feel when they're talking to me that way. I don't
Yes.
feel like I can actually understand dog barks or cat meows. I'm not to that level.
No,
But see.
there is another level of animal communication. That's the Ted Andrews books.
Yeah, Ted Andrews, if you're looking for understanding about animal communication, he's
I
excellent.
like those books because they use the animals for symbols, and you can look it up and see what, say, for instance, a bear means, or you can look it up and see what an alligator. I can't remember what it means, but it could be transformation, could be anything.
Right.
It's not going to be what we normally think of as a certain animal. It
Right.
could be. It's usually a spiritual connection. And one of the things that comes through for me as a very strong spiritual connection is when a bear comes through in my pictures. It doesn't mean that you had an incident with a bear. It doesn't mean, it might, but I have to weed through that. It usually means that the person has either had recent spiritual healing, body healing, actual physical healing, or is what I would call a healer.
Right.
And has the ability to bring the healing feeling and the love and the feelings of comfort that come to a person who is sick or has some sort of pain. And they're the kind of person sometimes that really knows what another person needs. And it's strange to think that that would be the bear symbol, but that's what Spirit has arranged with me for a symbol.
And a shorthand for things.
A shorthand, and then I know this is about spiritual healing. It could even be physical healing.
Right.
And one time I had a bear come through, and it was chasing what I thought was the person. And I said, I have asked Spirit never to give me bad things. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't deal with it. And so here's this bear with the claws going after this person, and I said, it always means healing, but I don't understand why it's coming through like that. And she said, I know what that is. She had to deal with a person whose personality was like an angry bear, and she has overcome it in her life. And she had overcome it recently and also received a physical healing after it.
Because
so
of the
it was
emotional.
connected very strongly with the spiritual experience. And you know, I'm not always quick enough to make that shift.
Sure.
From the scary to the great. You know?
I'm there with you on that one.
I'll tell you. And so, but it's wonderful to know that Spirit is working with you on all levels. And if you think you're alone, you're not.
Right.
I know that you're looking for maybe one person when you come in for a reading, but there are probably 6 that are trying to get through and say hello to you. And so just remember that. You're not alone. Just because you've lost someone very, very dear to you doesn't mean that you're alone. They're there, but they might not be able to come through without making you really, really sad.
Yeah.
Until there's been a while. So sometimes they
Some
send
people
someone
need
else.
space about those things.
Because they don't want to make
parts
you.
of it.
They don't want to. When you feel their presence, sometimes it's so sad. They don't want to come as close.
Well, it's hard for them to get through someone who's in an upset aura space.
Yeah, but other people
it's hard
can
to get
come
through
in.
that. Other people can come in,
Yeah,
but
so-
some other people that
so
they
such
really
a
want
variety of experiences. Oh, I have another one that just popped into
Okay.
my mind with an animal.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we should
I-
probably take a call.
Oh, okay. I don't know what the timing is.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and tell it. Go
You
ahead
sure?
and tell it. Yeah.
Okay. There was a woman who came to me, and
17 minutes.
anyway,
Quick.
some people in her family, like you say, some people in the family come through, but and she was really happy. She's a sweet lady. And then all of a sudden, this dog came through with puppies, plus puppies, and she burst into tears. And she recognized the dog. She said, "That's this." I don't know how you say spitting image, but that is my dog.
Right.
And she was so. I said, "Well, how is she?" She says, "Well, how is she? Is she okay?" And I said, "Yeah, look at her.
Yeah.
She's bouncing. She's happy." She was kind of in the act of. Almost looked like her fur was the act of bouncing,
Being joyous.
being joyous. And I said, she's so happy and she's so grateful to you and she loves you so much. She loves me, she says. This is the lady who loves her dog. She
Right,
doesn't
right.
know that the dog loves her because she had put it to sleep the day before.
Right.
And the day before.
The day before.
Can you believe it came through the next day?
It can happen that way.
And she said, I said, your dog. She said, it was so, I can't remember what was wrong with the dog, but it had to be put down. There was no way it could ever live.
Right.
Plus the puppies.
Plus the puppies.
And the puppies were with her too. So it's like there is so much going on with animals and Spirit
Yes.
brings it through.
They do constantly bring good things through that are reaffirming for people,
So
and they'll do that.
all
with
that
love.
guilt she felt,
Yes.
all that terrible sadness and guilt and feeling like she had
And she
murdered
was
her
able to
best
let go of
dog.
that. That's
Yeah.
that's part of what can happen in a reading with people. They
Yeah.
can let go of guilt and ease about those things.
Because
ease of
people
grief.
come through and apologize. They come through and say they're fine.
Yeah.
They don't hold the grudges. Whatever.
It's
just
a
wonderful.
big reason of why we do this.
Mhm. That's why we do it. That's-
Well, let's take a caller. And did you want to do one of those?
If
So let's see. I'm going to take caller ending in 7156. So 7156. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hi, lady.
Hi.
Oh, thank you. I love listening to your show.
Oh,
And
good.
my last name is also White, so I feel really connected.
Oh, cool. Very cool. And so, what's your first name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Massachusetts,
Massachusetts.
and my question is this. Either be a pet or be a human. I had something happen to me last week where almost 24 hours prior to an interview, I was going to do an interview with someone. I did an interview with someone, but almost 24 hours prior to, I was talking to this lady's mom for like an hour and a half. So my question is, how did your mom know that who I was, or how to text me almost a day before
Right.
the interview to get her the message? So either be a pet or a person. Like, how did they find me? How did they even know? And I've been confused with this because it's been happening more and more, like sometimes hours before.
Right.
Now, I started thinking about the person, their interviewee that I was interviewing. But I'm new at Mediumship.
Mm-hmm.
So, my question is, was it because I had the person in my mind, or was it because her mom knew through the interviewee, let's call her Debbie, that Debbie was going to be talking to me the following day, and that's how she connected the link? I mean, how did
Right.
that happen? I don't know.
Okay, so your question is, you were getting ready for an interview and you started communicating with Spirit like the day before, and it ended up being the person who was interviewing you. It ended up being her mom, is what you said, right?
Yeah.
And you're wondering, how is that possible that I get advanced contact with Spirit? There are mediums that work that way. I have in the past worked that way, but I early on in things decided to preset circumstances that I would receive information. So it's very common for people who are starting out in mediumship to get information in advance of something they're doing in their life. Sometimes they will even receive information through dreams in advance of going through an event or meeting with a particular person. This is another level of synchronicity. So there is the law of synchronicity and the law of attraction. There are spiritual natural laws that are at work in our lives, and this is just an extension of that. And spirit communication is constantly working for this. I've had people contact me because they had a dream and they were visited by their loved one in spirit. The loved one in spirit gave them my name, Willa, and that I was a medium and they were supposed to contact me. And they look me up online and they verify that there is a medium named Willa. So I've had people to that level, to that degree, and that just happened a few months ago. So, but that's very normal. It's very natural, and it's through that law of attraction, the law of synchronicity, and the love. Loved ones in spirit, you have to remember, also enjoy connecting with us, and they like to have that love and communication continued on. So I think it's wonderful that you received that to some extent, as long as the person that you end up communicating that their spirit loved one is with you is on the same page and of acceptance. That's sometimes the tricky part. Yeah. But I think that was a confirmation for you.
Yes, definitely.
All I always do is I always ask them a couple of questions to see if it makes sense. And it's only 3 questions, and the answers don't have to be all 3 have to be yes. And I give them the information.
Yes?
Oh, that's perfect.
Good,
But,
good.
You know, it's hard to like, yeah. So do you suggest I should look further into like the natural, spiritual, natural laws, or
I think that,
what should I do next in study?
well, it's excellent if you can find a mediumship development circle that's in your area. I always am trying to encourage people that if you can go to a mediumship development circle where there's a teacher and there are other people that would be part of your peer group, you can give and receive messages and really start to mind, body, spirit align for that purpose at least once a week. And certainly books do help, but it's more about hands-on practice. So workshops are great. If you come to Lilydale, we've got a great summer lineup that you can already check out the workshops online with lilydaleassembly.com. We've got a lot of great things that you can take part in here in Lilydale. But it's about doing it. It's about,
I do plan on being there this summer. Yes, definitely.
oh, good. So, being around people of like mind and talking about like, how do you receive information and how do I, just being playful and sacred, because what we're doing as mediums is sacred and it can be fun as well. I'm always advocate of that. So continue on with this. If it feels good and you feel the confirmation, I mean, when you know that you're doing good, there's no doubt that you should keep heading in that direction. Well, I'm excited for you.
I am too. That's exciting.
It is exciting.
And a lot of people send ahead in a way. In other words, you may be also sending your thoughts ahead of you with love and caring about the people you run into. And then those people, it's funny, it's right, it's synchronicity, and it's that
law of attraction.
Law of attraction.
And people will ask, how should I prepare for a reading? And I do have suggestions for receiving a reading on my website, on the reading FAQ page. But a lot of times I just say to them, tell your people in spirit, hey, you guys, I've got an appointment, show up. Right. And that seems to work really well. So it's just about showing up. Well, I thank you so much. Yes. I thank you so much for calling in today, and I wish you all the best in your mediumship. You be well.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank
That was
you.
wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Good
So it's wonderful what can happen with spirit, and how people will get things in advance, and it's a confirmation that they're heading in the right direction in their life.
And spirit's way of saying, wake up, we're here,
Yes,
investigate,
yes,
look into it, keep your whole body involved.
very
Keep
much
your
so.
other bodies, your emotional body and your spiritual body and your consciousness lined up for this,
Absolutely,
because they're there and they're ready to work with people.
they are.
Yeah.
They are. Well, I want to, I know we've got another caller, so I want to give them a chance if they have a question for us today. So, caller ending in 8138. Again, 8138. Hello and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Willa. How are you today?
Doing well. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Julie, and I'm calling from upstate New York.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for calling in today. And did you have a comment or question?
Yes, I just wondered if you happen to see an animal near me in spirit. I just lost
Oh, don't tell us. Don't tell us. Don't tell us anything. But I think my mom's willing to do a spirit art for you.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. I don't know if an animal will come through, but we're going to give it a shot right here on the show. Does that sound good?
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, you're
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
You're welcome, Julie.
I've got about 3 or 4 pieces that I'm going to move around.
She's working
Hope
the
they don't-
charcoal on the page right now.
Won't
Her
fall
eyes
on
are closed. And we'll share this picture with you later and with everyone. I'll take a picture of it and post it on my Facebook page, so you'll be able to retrieve it that way and comment.
I'm turning it around.
And a lot of times what she'll do is she'll turn it around to see if she sees things at different angles. So you may want to try to do that when you are able to get the visual yourself later on.
Oop. I don't think I'm done here. Just a minute.
Oh, she's still trying to do things.
I don't have a little table. Okay. All right, now I'm.
We're in
feeling
Florida,
better.
so we don't have the setup I usually do.
Okay.
This one is.
Now, let me get some of this off so I can check it out.
Okay, so we're looking at the picture.
Wow. I want to know if you have recently done some really changing around in your life, like moving around and organizing and that kind of thing, because I'm seeing a lot of that here.
Yes.
Yes. And now I'm also seeing up here, I saw this right away, and it's like it looks like a dog that's wrapped up.
Yes.
Wrapped like almost like a blanket is all around it.
It
See
does
that?
look like that.
It's like a little nose sticking out, and it's there's a certain
Dog in a blanket.
a dog in a blanket, and it's very. There's something about the dog that seems extremely sincere. You know, like a really focused type dog.
Yes.
See how it's looking here, and this little ear here. So, was it a dog?
Yes, it was a dog, yes.
Okay.
And then, do you understand why it would come in looking wrapped up?
Like it's all swaddled.
Yes.
Like swaddled.
Yes, he was swaddled in a blanket, and I haven't let go of the blanket for a week.
Wow.
Wow. Great confirmation. Thank you.
Because it's right there. That's the first thing I saw, but it was just the dog head and then this blanket around her. I didn't see the rest of the dog. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you can't see the
But I
rest of
did
the dog.
see that there was a lot going on, and that there was a lot of love with the dog. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot. Now, I'm seeing a couple people here.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see
right in the
people
center.
In the center
There
there.
are 2 people that are really very loving. So there must be someone with you that is very comforting you at this time.
Yes, my husband held the dog for over 2 hours while he was passing
So he's-
in the blanket.
So he's sharing the grief. It's not just your grief, but his grief too.
Yes.
And it's like you really are close.
Yeah,
Right
it's
in
like
the
a cute
middle.
little couple in the
It's
middle
like
of
a
it.
couple in the middle, and they're really close. And
And there's the husband's
his
head.
head.
I can see. Yeah.
yeah, and there's a line going from the 2 right over to the blanketed dog.
Yes, you're right. Reaching out
So
to that.
there's a lot in here. There's probably many more things in here if you use a
Yeah,
magnifying
we don't have
glass.
much time. We only have
Okay.
15 minutes.
So yeah, so
Well, we'll share this later online, like I said, so you'll be able to see it more, and you may want to zoom in so you can see it, and also rotate the picture, and you'll probably see other faces in this.
right.
But I hope that helps to give you the confirmation you needed, Julie.
Oh, thank you so much, Mrs. White and Willa. I appreciate it so much. It helps me so much.
You're
Wow.
welcome.
It's a very wonderful. The dog felt so protected during his passing. So very protected.
Yeah.
I have to say that. And that was a wonderful gift for
Yeah.
the dog. Okay.
Very
Thank you.
sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Oh, you are very welcome. Thank you so much for calling in, and lots of love to you. Oh, well, we'll share that later.
90 seconds.
90 seconds, folks. Okay, so we'll I'll take a picture and share it like I promised. And the show's gone by so fast. So as you can see, we've given some examples of ways the animals come in. There are many other ways. I distinctly remember I was doing a reading for a mother and her son together, a family session, and her other son in spirit came through, and he brought in a bird, and it perched on the chair in spirit. And she said, yes, that actually happened. After my son's passing, a bird came through the sliding glass doors and landed on the dining room chair. And so she had her confirmation, and it was lovely that came through in the reading. So sometimes animals will be messengers for human spirits as well. And it's a wonderful confirmation. So I hope you've enjoyed our show today of communicating with animals in spirit. And there's so many more things we could share about it, but time goes by so fast. Next week, I will be in Lilydale. I have as my guest Patricia Price, and we're going to be talking about right-left brain and how that applies to intuition and mediumship, so you can know a little bit more of how to use that. So tune in next week, same channel, same time. And we really appreciate everybody calling in today and joining us for Wednesdays with Willa. And thanks for being on the show today, Mom.
Thank you for having me. I loved it. Thank you all.
Let's see. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Lots of love to all of you. And we'll send some sunshine your way.